BET Awards, the real question is, what is the BET Awards going to look like once Tyler gets in there and takes over? Things were a little off. I can attribute some of that to the writer's strike, and then I can attribute some of that to just where music is right now. You know, I'm a little bit more seasoned than some of the audience people, so you know, I can appreciate some of it, and some of it, you know, I just leave it where it is. But so let me just give you my good, my bad, and my ugly. My good, all of the artists that I grew up with. T.I. always does his thing. Jeezy, even the pre-show, it was good to see Scrappy up there with Crime Mob, and they did Knuck If You Buck and Stilettos, and they might have did something else, but they did really good. It really could have been on the actual award show. Another good was Lotto. I really like Lotto. I've been following her like most people since she was on Jermaine Dupri's rap show. To see her progression as an artist is really cool because she's really talented. I think her being on tour with Lizzo kind of helped her stage presence, because Lizzo gives performance from start to finish. I think Lotto kind of learned that from Lizzo, just watching her as they were on tour, because Lotto used to then give you, you know, a full dance production and all of that. You know, she would just pretty much, you know, stand and perform or whatever and let her lyrics speak for themselves. But this time she was the complete package, so I was really proud of her. My absolute favorite of the night was definitely the Migos. Definitely seeing Offset and Quavo come together since the passing of Takeoff. Like, that was really cool. Whether they did it just for the show, I felt like it was really a big moment for the culture. You know, just seeing the two of them, you know, be reunited on stage. That performance was very memorable. I'll never forget that. It was just nice seeing the two of them together. And I'll give special shout outs to like Luke. I wish Luke's set was a little bit longer. And Busta Rhymes' speech. It was nice to see that they honored Busta, because he's very deserving of it. Busta has always given a full out performance. Like, he's the epitome of what you would think a rap artist should be, in my opinion. My bad was just, it was a lot of bads, but I think it depends on who you talk to. So for me, my bads was just the whole flow of the show, the transitioning. You know, people coming up on stage late. The segment with Tiana Taylor's mom. I love Tiana, and I wish Tiana was there. It was nice to see that her mom came to accept the award on her behalf. But it was just like, if they couldn't put Tiana on the Jumbotron video screen or whatever to accept her award, I felt like it was just doing a little bit too much to call her on the phone. It was cute, but the joke was short-lived after Tiana's reaction, because then the phone call started being really choppy. So it was just like, thank you and God, and you could only hear every 10th word that she was saying, and it just went on and on and on. And I was waiting for them. I don't know if y'all remember back in the day with American Music Awards, when this was when it was like Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie, and I think Lionel Richie was hosting, because he kept saying outrageous. And anytime somebody would get on the stage and they would be going over the time limit, they would always play that da, 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 da. I felt like we needed that last night. We really needed the music to kind of break up some of the mess that was going on. My bad was me not being able to decipher whether the award show was just a hip hop show, or was it the actual BET show? Because the BET award show, from what I can recall in years past, they had a good mix of, you know, R&B and hip hop and even gospel. They had a good mix of things, but last night just felt like it was strictly hip hop. And I guess that's because it was the 50th anniversary of hip hop. I don't know. It felt like the whole show was hip hop. And, you know, I was here for a lot of the music because I knew a lot of the music, but, you know, there were some artists that were just like, we could have done without it. Also, my bad was giving awards to people that you know ain't gonna be there. Like, it's understood at this point that Beyonce ain't coming. Yeah, she was on tour this year, but she ain't coming. If she wasn't on tour, she ain't coming. I don't even think that she looks at the BET Awards. She definitely doesn't look at it like it's a Grammy. So at this point, with her having been in the game for so long, it's okay not to give her an award. You're not going to entice her to start coming to the BET Awards. So Angela Bassett got an award. Angela Bassett's not coming. She's not coming. Just the whole notion of giving people awards that you know is not going to be there. Because like even when they gave Beyonce her award, it felt like people were kind of booing. And I don't know if they were booing because it was something else going on in the audience, or if they were booing because they knew Beyonce wasn't going to be there. But either way, start giving awards to people that can appreciate it at the point in their career. You know, I'm not saying that Beyonce wouldn't appreciate it, but let's just be honest. It's for her, it's not a Grammy. Anyway, okay, so here's my ugly. I didn't have a whole lot of uglies, but the two that stood out, one was something that I found out happened during the show, but I didn't find out until after the show was over. So the whole thing between JT from City Girls and Little Uzi Vert, them kind of getting into it. JT threw her phone at him, and she kind of waltzed out, and he went out after her. But for context, from what I understand, it's kind of two stories that's out there. One story is saying that Uzi Vert was giving too much attention to Ice Spice, who came to sit next to him, and JT, of course, got upset because they're dating and they live together. And then there was another story that came out and said that JT was upset because she had left her seat, and when she came back, her seat was taken. I tend not to lean towards that, because if it's JT's seat, it would be, I know they have those seat fillers, but the whole premise of a seat filler is once the person that's sitting there comes back, they get up and they leave. I don't know that I believe, you know, she was upset that her seat was taken. Now, if she's upset about Ice Spice because the pictures show, you know, Uzi Vert paying a good deal of attention to Ice Spice, you know, being her age, I understand what that's like. But I think more than anything, their situation put like a bullseye on their relationship, because it felt like that's how they get down. Like they probably fight each other a lot, which is horrible. When you have, it seems like they love hard, but they fight even harder. That's just outside looking in. Don't know if it's true or not, but that type of young love, and I put it in heavy quotes, it can get out of hand. And I think we saw just how out of hand it got. And I think JT needs to be careful, because when she threw the phone could have hit somebody else, and that could have been an assault charge. That relationship, outside looking in, looks to be a bit much. It looks to be a bit toxic. So that was one of my uglies. So my next ugly was Patti LaBelle. And I absolutely love Patti. I love Patti. I do. But Patti, I'm gonna need for whoever's in charge at BET to make this the last year that Patti is on the roster for doing tributes to people. First of all, the tribute felt rushed, and more importantly, Patti didn't know the words. Now, we know the teleprompter usually at these shows messes up, doesn't work, you can't see, it's too far back, all of that stuff. Patti is a seasoned professional. She knows that. It wouldn't have taken Patti long to memorize the words. She already had the melody to the song. She knew that part, but she needed to have memorized the words if she was going to pay tribute to Tina Turner. Tina Turner is just as much of a legend, or more in some countries and spaces, as Patti. And I just felt like it was just a gig to Patti. Like, okay, yeah, I'm supposed to pay tribute to Tina this weekend, so yeah, I'm check that off the list. But you know, I'm gonna make sure I look good. She looked the part. She looked gorgeous. But I think she failed Tina in not giving Tina her flowers. Patti's an older woman. I know she's got to be in her 70s or 80s or something like that. You know, if it was a thing where, you know, she couldn't remember the words, and I don't think that that's it, because Patti's very sharp. Patti should have done a better job of preparing to pay tribute to Tina. And if she knew she wasn't going to be able to do it, if she wasn't going to be able to deliver, she should have declined. And I'm kind of upset about whoever's in charge at BET when they're doing these tributes, because it's just like, why are we not calling Fantasia? Why is Fantasia not the go-to? Fantasia is going to give you 110 every time she steps on the stage. She would have known the words. She could have did a full-on, she could have done 3 songs and she would have known all of the words for Tina. She would have given you the performance. She would have done the dances. She would have come out into the audience. She would have kicked her shoes off in the air and performed barefoot and still tore the house down. And we would have walked away the next day talking about Offset and Quavo and Fantasia. That's how that would have went. And so I don't know. It's like, it feels almost sometimes like Fantasia is blackballed from these various things, because people are they pay tribute to people all the time on the Soul Train Awards, the BET Awards, all of the NAACP, all of these black shows. And I can only recall one time that Fantasia has been the person to perform. And it's just ridiculous, because it's just like, unless Fantasia was booked and busy, had something to do, I totally get it. But it just feels like they just don't call her for nothing. So that need to be a part of it going forward. Keep Fantasia at the top of the list of the people that you call to do these tribute performances. Next year is going to be very interesting, because now that Tyler has acquired BET and VH1, I'm curious to see what the BET Awards is going to look like. So it's going to be interesting to see if Tyler is going to be in charge of everything, because Tyler doesn't believe in writers. Tyler, from what we've seen of Tyler writes his own stuff. So is he going to be writing, the scripts for the BET Awards? And is he going to, which I don't necessarily agree with that. I feel like it needs to be a collaborative effort from multiple people, but that's how Tyler gets down. So I'm curious to see how BET is going to change. I also believe that Tyler is going to bring back a certain level of control and decorum to the BET Awards. Now, whether that's good or bad, who knows? But I think this is going to be the last year of us seeing how it played out this year. I think next year he's probably going to have a bigger gospel segment. He's going to have probably more tributes to older people. He's probably going to have less of a hip-hop presence. But it'll be interesting. But the overall show, I didn't finish watching all the way to the end, but the parts of the show that I did see, overall, it was BET, and love it or hate it, it's aspects of our culture. And so overall, I enjoyed the show.